Hello, my astrology friends. This is Lada from AstroladaOfficial, and these are your August 2025 video horoscopes. And August is pretty gentle, easygoing month, possibly one of the easiest that I've looked at this year. And it's kind of like the quiet before the storm because in September we have two eclipses. But after that, again, we're going to have some wonderful configuration to the end of the year through the months. But August is a well-deserved respite and break. We're going to have Mercury turning direct. Around the same time, the two greatest benefics, Venus and Jupiter, are joining together in Cancer. Actually, the whole of August, they're pretty much in the same sign. So one area of your life will go with such ease, with such blessings and positive flow. So there will be one area that will be very easy for us all, or a source of blessings. And we're going to have a Saturn opposition Mars around the 9th, 8th, or 7th, 8th, 9th. But usually this is a stressful combination. Some external circumstance can stress us, some conflict that needs to be resolved. But this time it creates an incredibly positive configuration, which is called a kite formation, because there is a trine from Uranus to Mars, trine from Pluto to Mars. And that's kind of, Uranus is wisdom, Pluto is willpower. So some kind of whatever we triggered into, which is Mars Saturn opposition, triggered or into action, activated in some way, provoked, we're able to resolve it by tapping into divine wisdom and the right source of willpower that is aligned to divine willpower. So this energy, this conflict or the stress between Saturn and Mars that's starting at the beginning of the month will be resolved in some way into productive action. And of course, we're going to have full moons, new moons, but nothing dramatic, nothing over the top. There is a full moon on the 9th of August, which is in Aquarius. It's around the same time where everything else, the Venus, Jupiter conjunction, Saturn, Mars opposition. And this will be like peak of activity. Full moons are peak of activities, seeing the results of previous actions, getting the rewards for it, for example. And this full moon is in Aquarius, which is social. It predisposes us to connect with like-minded people, emotionally to form friendships, or to strengthen existing friendships already, or connections, business or personal connections as well. And on the 23rd, there is a new moon when the sun and the moon are together at the 0 degrees in Virgo, which kind of gets us prepared to get into work mode, to get into more serious down to earth, because till now was everything was in Leo, so it's more like enjoy yourself, holidays and so on. But this new moon from the 23rd of August in the 0 degree of Virgos kind of gets us down to earth, focused. Um, let's get down to practical things, solve them, and it's conjunct the star Regulus. So it's the star of leadership. So maybe some kind of new motivation will come into us to, let's say, to organize ourselves, to take leadership about our health, which is Virgo, or because Regulus is a star of incredible willpower. This is the heart of the lion. It's a star there, the heart of the king, which gives us incredible willpower, incredible motivation, and bravery and courage. And we can apply it to Virgo areas in our life for our health, for our routines, for our work, for our errands, to organize our life in some way for the practical matters of life. And now we're going to start with each of the 12 signs. But before that, I just want to let you know that I've created a 3.5 hour webinar on the ideal home and perfect environment according to your horoscope. You don't need to know any astrology. You just need to know your day of birth and time of birth. And I lead you step by step to see what is like. Are you going to live near mountains in certain periods of life, or near marshes, or near forests or big cities, small cities? What will the house be like? Is going to be a big house or more than one place of living, foreign residence or more local? Or how is it going to be even decorated? And what's going to be around your neighborhoods? For example, it might be close to stadiums. That's how you recognize if you're trying to choose two properties to rent, which is yours. If there is Mars influence, it will be close to a factory or close to a stadium or fitness. So if it's close to Venus, it might be close to a music hall. So I go through absolutely every sign. Each 12 signs have their ideal environment, and each planet has its own environment. And how to see, and you can have more than one environments. For example, you can have a few signs that influence your places of living and where you find yourself throughout your life. It's incredible. You can see even are you going to be in islands or more densely populated places with gardens and so on. It's incredibly fun. It's only $20. It becomes 30 after that. Very affordable if you'd like to order it. I'm putting a link below here. And now let's begin with the 12 signs. Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Rising, August 2025. This is tropical zodiac, Western astrology. I always advise you that you start with your rising sign. If you know your time of birth, then proceed to the moon sign and the sun sign. Each three will give you a different perspective and can fill up the full picture and see which of the three signs you resonate the most with. So if you're Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Rising, Cancer, wonderful. Look, Jupiter and Venus are in your sign. The two benefics, the small benefic Venus, the great benefic Jupiter is in your sign the whole month. And by the way, Jupiter is visible. Till now, Jupiter entered Cancer in June, but it was invisible till August. But when it becomes visible, its benefic wealth power, luck power becomes tangible. When it's invisible, it's not visible. You can't manifest externally, but now Jupiter is visible, Venus is visible in your house, in your sign, Cancer. You're lucky this month, especially they join together around the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. They're closest together. But something good, like a good luck can come to you around that time. Or you can just feel more mellow, zen, inspired, or just I would even play lottery. Why not? The two best planets in your sign, especially if this is your ascendant or sun or moon. Also, you can become more attractive to others. You can pull. Venus is very magnetic. Come to me and Jupiter shows your aura. There's Jupiter in your aura and Venus. Jupiter is the aura of well-being, of success, of wealth, of positivity. And Venus is the aura of luxury, abundance, joy, pleasure. Jupiter is joy, Venus is pleasure. So you can become a bit more indulgent this month, but it is okay. I think you deserve it as Cancer because Mars was in your sign for 7 months in the last 12 months, for Mars retrograde there. And now you need this pampering, this luxurious energy a little bit more. Maybe go on a holiday. I don't know. Jupiter rules your ninth house of foreign places. Venus, what does Venus rules for you? 11th house, friendships, social events of some sort. Even something good can happen to you through a social event or through a foreign travel. Or both these planets in Vedic astrology are the planets of teachers. Venus is the earthly teacher, about which teaches about earthly life, how to live it successfully. Jupiter is the spiritual teacher who teaches you how to reach spiritual enlightenment or internal joy. When both of them are together, maybe taking a course, learning something of some sort with the two teachers, or maybe finding a teacher really who will give you and very aligning very easily that allows you, or inner intuition or a guide or intuition from somewhere about your path, because your first house is your path. What is on your path? And even if you want to study and learn, I'm doing this course, as I said, which I've done it already. It's 3.5 hours, which you might find quite interesting. Anyway, but Venus and Jupiter, they're aligning out. If you want to do something important and you want to be perceived and liked and accepted without resistance, I would use this month because of the two benefic planets there. Others might just kind of indulge more in food, in pleasures, just feel more enjoyable overall. And others can use these energies more strategically. Depends at what place in your life you're right now and how, how it will manifest. Um, but yeah, it's something good. Expect something good there. And at the same time, you're going to have Cancer full moons because full moons affect you strongly. Every month there is a full moon and they repeat every year, but let's mention it full moon in your eighth house around the ninth. So you might feel more, and actually, not only that, but a grand trine in its forming again around 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 12th, between Mars, Pluto, and Uranus. Look where it's happening in your 12th, 4th, and 8th houses. These are the secret houses, the spiritual house, the houses of the subconscious, the houses of our soul, basically. And this grand trine, it's like a perfect alignment. It's the perfect shape, equilateral triangle that's forming between those planets. It's the most healing energies, the Father, the Holy Spirit, it's the Trinity energy. It's represented by exactly the same shape that is forming in the sky for all of us in those days of August. And for you in particular, it activates the hidden houses of your subconscious. You can resolve or heal, almost like through divine grace, some trauma, some something that is self 12th house where Pluto is usually something that is like not 12th house 12th house where Uranus is for you is self-sabotaging behaviors, long-standing psychological issue. 8th house is obsessions, addictions as well. 4th house is traumas from childhood. And 12th house is from past lifetime. So there is a lot of subconscious. In our subconscious is 98%, and it determines our behaviors, it determines our conscious behaviors. Yes, we know I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this, I go and do it. And something more powerful than you pushes you, something more powerful than you triggers us. But now with this grand trine in the subconscious house, there can be like an illumination or alignment, realignment in a healing way of your subconscious. Maybe something becomes clear for you without effort, eureka moment, or maybe you're with a psychologist or with someone else and you mention something or they mention something and you're like, now I realize why I've always acted like that, or I suddenly don't feel compelled by something that I've all my life felt compelled by, or I suddenly don't feel fearful about that, or something from the subconscious, not on a conscious level, even aligns within yourself. The subconscious is aligning, healing itself. And as I said, it might be connected to a childhood trauma, past life trauma, and so on. So, some very deep psychological insights can come to you this month because of this grand trine, and very esoteric planets are playing in it. Uranus, divine wisdom, Pluto, aligning our will to divine will is Pluto, divine will. Mars, this Mars is the planet of action, though. And so there'll be some subconscious things that happen, or maybe even hidden support that comes to you from ancestors. 12 houses, our departed ancestors from the invisible world, and so on, and 8th house as well. That some invisible help for you to do something to break out of some family pattern. Mars in the 4th house, or uh, some childhood pattern, and to change it in some way, to heal it, or to act, or maybe because Saturn is opposing Mars as well around the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. You might be triggered to some emotionally to change something, maybe change your environment, maybe change where you live, place of living, or something around your home or the home dynamics. It might start with a trigger first because of the Saturn opposition, but there is a lot of like invisible support from the invisible world pushing you to make those changes and helping you make the wise changes. And even if there's some stressful situation between your emotional needs and the needs of the world and your duties and worldly responsibilities, Saturn, the 10th house, maybe tension between home and work, responsibility, home, having to do something at home versus, what the world is expecting to you, or having to make some decision there. The decision might come out through this fourth house of home and place of living, or through this 10th house where Saturn is, because it breaks the Saturn is the one that breaks the grand trine. It's the provoking energy that pushes you into action, or you can make some breakthrough with your work or with your career in some say, or maybe some authority figure or someone with more authority, more age, uh, uh, or seniority of some sort can provoke you to make some changes, which is Mars is the planet of action. Saturn is the senior planet that we're talking about. And your subconscious is helping. Some invisible forces, forces bigger than you, 12th house, 8th house, Pluto, Uranus. These are things that we don't consciously work with. These are external forces that can push you to make some change in your personal and career life, possibly. But because it's such a beautiful configuration, grand trine, a kite with Saturn as well. Very perfect harmonious figure. These are very rare in astrology. Perfect harmonious figure, which can, even if it starts with a stress, it can indicate, like for example, that you end up taking more responsibility, Saturn in the 10th house, that you end up doing something of importance in your career, some important decision or executive decision, or some important decision connected to a personal life, home, family, place of living. And by the way, Mars in your fourth house for the next 2 months almost asks you, and you put a lot more energy into home, into family, into uh, maybe some DIY work, moving something, or even if you're moving because of the wonderful aspects that are happening, it's going to be for good. And of course, if you need help to decide where you're going to move, exactly my webinar uh, is very helpful for that. Even you don't need to know any astrology, as I said. It tells you, okay, if you're choosing from two places of residence, you look at your horoscope and you see you have Saturn in your fourth house, or the ruler of the fourth house is in Capricorn, for example, and you're wondering whether you should be in the old town of in the old part of town, or there is another property that is, say, in the new part of town. And if Saturn is involved, I would always say in the historical old part. So it's very easy. I teach you how to do it. No astrology is needed. What each of the 12 signs and planet mean about places of living and environments, and what kind of house. Is it stone? Is it wooden house? Is it many floors? Or is it skyscraper? Or is it subterranean sometimes, So it's incredibly practical. But yeah, Mars, Cancers, you're putting energy there. While at the same time, Jupiter, you see, such an important month because there's one, two, three, four, five planets on angular houses on the cross for you. And they activate each other, some of them. But Venus and Jupiter says no matter what decisions you make, no matter what's happening, you're very protected here. Even if there is some argument at home with Mars in the fourth house, or some the need to change something there, it's like you are always taking good decisions, and there is a lot of protection on your physical body and health. If it's your sun in Cancer for your career, the Venus Jupiter combination is very good. If it's your moon for your emotional happiness and personal life. But yeah, you might be putting energy here about property for month and a half in August, about fixing doing. Oh, my husband is Cancer and we're just decorating our new flat. Yes, we got a new place and there's a lot of work on it. We're not doing it ourselves, but we have to go with the designer and the stuff. So yeah, there might be some tension here, but obviously, as I said, Mars, amazing aspects from Uranus and Pluto. And yeah, pretty much this is it for you, Cancers. Yeah, we said there is a new moon, sorry, full moon on the 9th in your eighth house. You might be something to do with taxes, you might complete taxes, or something to do with investments into stock market that gets culmination. Maybe like you sell some stocks because they've reached a high for you, because the full moon is the highest it can go, or mutual finances and resources. Maybe you're paying for something together as a couple, or these are eighth house topics, but also, as I said, very deep psychological insight. You see through lies with this full moon in your eighth house, you see through manipulations. Uh, and yeah, as long as you're not secretive yourself, Cancer has this tendency. But as I said, there is like a lot of deep realizations connected to your psyche. Oh, yeah. And Mercury is turning direct on the 11th in your second house. If there was some financial restraints till the 11th, or some financial delays or complications, or maybe researching about different investments, do it after the 11th when Mercury turns direct, because things with finances become more predictable, more according to plan. Uh, yeah, that's pretty much it. And finances matters like that, but till the 11th they might be a bit unstable. After that, there is maybe, if you've rebudgeted well, if you've prepared, if you've kind of organized your finances and resources, when Mercury turns direct, you start seeing the benefits of it. So thank you so much.